this section, we will discuss hair fundamentals, hair color fundamentals, and color theory. The success of any hair color service depends on the coloring products, techniques, and the physical nature of the hair itself. This section explores the fundamentals of hair, its structure, and its unique characteristics. Each strand of hair has three main components that make up its structure: the medulla, the cortex, and the cuticle. The medulla is the canal-shaped innermost part of the human hair. It has no known function. Not all hair contains a medulla. The cortex is the center part of the hair and makes up most of the hair shaft. It gives the hair its special qualities such as elasticity and curl. The cortex is packed with strands of keratin that lie along the length of the hair. Oxidative pigments are developed or transformed into color dye molecules in the cortex. The cuticle is the outside layer of the hair shaft. It's composed of transparent, overlapping, protective scale-like cells. The cuticle protects the inner structure of the hair. A healthy, flat cuticle layer promotes strength and shine. Texture, density, porosity are three characteristics that influence how hair can respond to hair color. Texture is the diameter of the individual hair strand. Determining the hair's texture helps us determine how it may respond to hair color. Texture is generally referred to as fine, medium, or coarse. Fine texture is made up of melanin granules that are grouped together tightly and can impact the hair color absorption rate for a quicker uptake. Medium texture has an average response to color and is the normal hair type most commonly found. Coarse texture usually has scales on the cuticle that are closely overlapped and raised away from the hair shaft, allowing it to readily absorb water and chemicals such as hair color. It can have a slower absorption rate. The density of the hair is determined by the number of active hair follicles per square inch on the scalp. It can influence the look of color because it affects the way light is reflected or absorbed. It's usually referred to as light, average, or thick. Light density can add more light reflection. Average density can provide a medium level of light reflection and absorption. Thick density can absorb light and can be less reflective. Density influences how much color mixture is needed for the color service. Porosity is the hair's ability to absorb and hold moisture. Some factors that contribute to hair's porosity include past chemical services, environmental damage, and mechanical damage from hot tools. Porosity is usually described as low, average, or high. Low porosity may cause the hair to absorb color at a slower rate. Normal porosity absorbs color at an average rate, and high porosity absorbs color quickly and also tends to fade more readily. Accurately judging the hair's porosity is critical for color and developer selection. All hair color durability is related to the porosity of the hair.
In the next section, we'll review hair color fundamentals, how pH affects hair color, the different pigment types, and the different categories of hair color. pH, or potential hydrogen, is the range of numbers expressing the relative acidity or alkalinity of a solution. In general, pH values range from 0 to 14. Solutions that are below a 7 are considered acidic. Solutions above a 7 are considered alkaline. Kenra color has a pH value of 8.5 to 10.5. The alkalinity in permanent hair color in conjunction with hydrogen peroxide allows the cuticle to open and swell. The melanin will be lifted and/or color will be deposited. Kenra shampoos and conditioners are pH-based at level 4.5 to 5.5, so they assist in color retention by helping close and seal the cuticle. There are two types of pigments, direct dyes and indirect dyes. Direct dyes, or non-oxidative dyes, are color pigments that can actually be seen. They do not require an oxidative agent such as hydrogen peroxide. Direct dye pigments are typically larger and remain on the outer portion of the hair shaft. They can also have a staining effect on the hair. Indirect dyes are also called oxidative or intermediate dyes. They require an oxidative agent such as hydrogen peroxide to develop the pigments. The indirect pigments develop within the hair. There are several categories of hair color, and Kenra color features permanent and demi-permanent. Permanent hair color permanently alters the hair shaft. It can be a combination of direct and indirect pigments. It can cause movement or lift of natural melanin and deposit in one process. It needs to be mixed with an oxidative agent such as 10 to 40 volume developer. Demi-permanent hair color is deposit only. It can be a combination of direct and indirect pigments. It needs to be mixed with an oxidative agent to encourage full oxidation of indirect pigments.
In this section, we'll review color theory and how it pertains to hair color. we'll discuss the law of color: primary, secondary, tertiary, and complementary colors. Color is the way an object reflects or emits light. The law of color states that there are only 3 pure colors that cannot be made with any other colors and from which all other colors are made. They are yellow, red, and blue, more commonly known as the primary colors. Secondary colors are made by mixing 2 primary colors in equal portions. For example, yellow and red make orange. Tertiary colors are made by mixing a primary color with a secondary color. For example, yellow and orange make yellow-orange. Complementary colors are found on the opposite side of the color wheel. They neutralize or cancel each other out when they're mixed together and produce a neutral color, such as dark gray or brown. In hair color, this allows us to control unwanted tones. For example, a blue-based color helps to eliminate unwanted orange tones.